Hello lovelies, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Dike Onye. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to make a short butterfly dress or a wing dress, not a fitted butterfly dress. So the measurements we're going to use are the hips, the bust, shoulder slash the sleeve length. The hips of the person is 38, the bust is 36, the shoulder slash sleeve length is 16. So how to measure for the shoulder slash sleeve length is just like when you're measuring for your kimono outfit. You measure from the collar of the bone to where you want your sleeve length to be. So we're going to fold the fabric into two to know the yardage of fabric we're going to use. So to get that will be the sleeve length 16 multiplied by 2. That will be 16 times 2, that is 32 inches on fold, to get the yardage of fabric we're going to be needing for the butterfly dress. That is 32 inches for the front and 32 inches for the back. So I'm actually cross-checking to see if it is exactly 32 inches on fold. Then so I'm going to go ahead to fold it over again the second time to get our actual sleeve length, which is 16 inches. Like I said, to measure the 6 inches is just measure from the collarbone straight to where you want the sleeve length to be. That is, for this video we measured 16 inches. As you can see, I'm checking here, I got 16.5 inches, which is okay and is enough. So I'm going to go ahead to first rule out a straight line to actually guide us to impute the measurements, like so. So then go then over to the gown length. Our gown length is 40 inches, so I'll be adding 1 inch for seam allowance, for the hem allowance, and for the shoulder joining allowance. So I'm marking out my 41 inches, like so. Then I'll be using my ruler to rule out a straight line with my small but mighty ruler, like so. So now I'm going to measure out my sleeve length, which is 16 inches. I'm going to measure it from the top of my fabric to the hem of my fabric, like so. 16 inches all through, like so. Then I'll be using my ruler to connect the dot with a straight line. Don't mind my small but mighty ruler. Then I'll have cross-check my measurements. The next thing we'll be imputing is my neckline. So as you can see, the way I folded the fabric on fold, the folded area, that's where we're going to impute our neckline measurements. For the neckline width, I'll be using 3.75 inches, and for the depth we'll be using 4.5 inches. The reason why I'm using 4.5 inches is because after I join the shoulder slope with 1/2 inch, I'll be left with 4 inches. So what I meant is, if you want to use 4 inches for the neckline depth, you have to add 0.5 inches. So far you are using a freehand method, like cutting directly on the fabric. So connect it with a straight line, my small but mighty ruler. Then create my curve. You can also make use of your French curve, don't mind me, I'm used to using my hands to actually do the freehand way. And after that, I'm going over to the shoulder slope and mark out 0.5 inches to actually create my shoulder slope. That is at the end of the sleeve length is 16 inches. So come down by 0.5 inches, and I connected it down to my neckline width actually. Then I'm going to measure out the hips. Our hips is 38 divided by 4, that is 9.5. Then measure out what is left by the side. Then since it's not a fitted butterfly dress, so I'll be adding 1 inch to make it loose. That will be 9.5 inches plus 1 inch, that will be 10.5 inches because it's not a fitted butterfly dress. And mind you, the hips is the largest measurement we have. So after measuring 10.5 inches, I have 5.75 inches left. So cut through my neckline down to the shoulder slope, then down to the hem of the dress. Just cut through it. Like so. And cutting through the hem of the dress, that is the gown length, like so. So I'm going to open it up for you guys to see how it actually look like. Then for the neckline, we use the same neckline for both the front and the back because we aren't making use of a zipper in this video because we want it to freely pass through the head of the person. So I'm going to use the red bias, actually pipe the neckline like so, and pipe the sides of the butterfly dress round the sides. Yeah. So we're going over to the machine. So on the machine, as you can see, that's the right side and the wrong side of the fabric. So I'm placing the right side facing the right side. Then I'm going to mark out 0.5 inches sewing allowance. Yeah, the reason why we added 0.5 inches to 4 inches for the neckline depth. So I'm going to sew on the 0.5 inches sewing allowance on the shoulder slope. So I'm going to sew on it like so, straight down like so. 0.5 inches sewing allowance. On the wrong side of the fabric, then I'm going to use my bias to pipe the neckline, as you can see, on the wrong side of the fabric, and that's the right side of the fabric. So I'm sewing my bias on the wrong side of my fabric. So I opened up the bias and folded the tip of the bias inside. Then fixed my fabric under my machine presser foot, placing my bias on the wrong side of the fabric, that is on the neckline. So like so, then I stitch on it round the neckline like so. As you can see, I've stitched it round the neckline, wrong side of the fabric. So turn it over to the right side of the fabric, as you can see. Then pull out the bias to the right side of the fabric and sew. On the shoulder slope, I came down by 10 inches, as you can see, like so. 10 inches, marked the 10 inches, then divided my hips by 4, that is 9.5, like so. Then I added 1 inch to 9.5, making it 10.5 inches. Then measure out the remaining, that is 5.75 inches. 5.75 inches. 5.75 inches. So I'm going to measure the 5.75 inches all through. 5.75 inches all through down to the hem area. Then on the hem area, that is the gown length, I'm coming up by 4 inches, mark it like so. So on the 10 inches mark I made from the shoulder slopes, I'm going to sew on it straight down to the hemline. So I'm going to sew like so. I don't know if you can see it. I use the black thread. Just going to sew like so, straight down to the 4 inches dot I made above the hemline, just like creating a slit down there so she'll be able to walk freely. Like so. Then over to the side of my dress, so I use my bias to pipe the side of the dress. I placed it on the wrong side of the fabric, as you can see, on the wrong side of the fabric, so I'm going to stitch on it like so. Wrong side of the fabric. I'm going to stitch round it. As you can see, I've sewn around it. So I'm going to do the same thing over to the other side of the fabric also. Round it. So I'm going to flip it over to the right side of the fabric and turn my bias to the front side of the fabric, that's the right side of the fabric, and stitch it. And see, you can also decide to make yours bold, but I just wanted mine this time to create a design. So we're going to stitch around the side of my butterfly dress like so. As you can see, it's beautiful. Beautiful. So then over to the hem / the gown length, I'm going to actually fold it, sew on it, like hem the down of my